topics you want to cover.
It'd be kind of cool if the coil.
I know, and I'm like,
Ready?
yeah, just go.
All right, good to go, guys.
Hello. All right.
So, hey guys, thanks for being here today. My name's Vincent. I'm the owner of American Pinball. Really appreciate you guys taking some time out of your day to be here. It means a lot to us. Hopefully you've come by the booth, and if you haven't been yet, we are giving away if you saw, we kind of released a 100th anniversary edition of our Houdini. We are giving one away, so if you go play a game, you can register for a chance to win. There's a QR code, so if you hadn't had a chance to do that, I encourage you to stop by the booth, say hi to the team. Again, thanks for being here. I know it's like, why such a big group here? But if some of you kind of heard, when I took over the company, so I bought the company in January, so it's been like 90 days ago. And one of the things that was really, I think, key was the company was kind of starved for some leadership. So I wanted to bring our leadership team here. I'm a Texan by birth, and so this is an important show to me. But anyway, I digress there. But I wanted to introduce kind of the team, let them give a quick intro about what they do, and then we'll have kind of maybe a special announcement at the end, and then we'll open up for questions, because I do want to leave some time for folks to ask questions if they have any. So I'll just go down the list this way, and then after we're done, we'll kind of each of them, we'll start maybe with Nate, and then Nick, and you guys can kind of go down the line and share a little bit about what you do. So directly here, this is Melvin Williams. Melvin comes from the Netherlands. He recently had an opportunity to open up to hire him, and he's our creative director. And man, I'm so excited to have Melvin on the team leading our creative efforts. This is Rath, who's our product director. He handles all the things related to our product, getting it to market, sort of whole strategy around that. So he'll share a little bit what he does. We got Nate Steen, who's our director of technology, rule software, code, whole bunch of other things. And then Ron, who's our president, Ron Lindeman, who's prior with the company, and Ron really leads our commercial efforts, especially in some of the things that we do there. And then we got a brand new designer, Nick Neitzel, who some of you guys maybe know him from his Tony Hawk homebrew, really talented designer, and really just super excited to have him on the team. So this is I don't want to say much more other than just kind of pass along, let them introduce themselves, and then at the end maybe I'll kind of close it up, and if people have any questions, we can go from there. So who's ready? Nate, you want to go first?
Sure.
Hey everyone, so I'm obviously the director of technology over here at American Pinball. One of the things that we've been really focused on for everyone is to get service to a new level for everyone, so that all the techs and everybody to have the information they need in order to do the service on our machines. We want every machine out there working. We want every machine in good working order so that people can enjoy them. I mean, that's one of the big things we always talk about, is like putting that legwork in the beginning to create that infrastructure so that everyone has what they need and access to the files they need, and making sure that we are in communication with all of our dealers, all of our technicians across the United States and more. So that's one of the big things we have focused on. And another thing is obviously looking into the future and making sure that we really give all of the respect to the team that was here before us and all of the games that have been created over time, and making sure that we really kind of just feel what the passion they put into the work of making those games. And the future for us is all about taking that passion and making something great from it, and just keep on making sure that the team here, the people that we have here, they're all passionate. We have that, and that's something that we want to keep building upon, and making sure that we all have the stuff we need to get the job done. And that's one of the things that I'm really going to make sure that we lock down in the future, and make sure that not only does this team have those tools, but providing that also to the extended team, which is everyone out here, everyone who's also have that same passion, all the fans, all of everyone that works on these machines. So we want to continue moving that forward and continue to have that focus and make sure that, we continue to communicate with you guys. So that's kind of one of the things that I'll be focusing on. And, obviously we got some great stuff that we're going to be, announcing in the future, and we're going to just continue to grow and continue to hopefully, provide you guys, the entertainment that you guys are hoping to have, right? Be the new games that you guys enjoy. So we're really excited about that, and we're really excited about, coming from here. So that's pretty much what we got. So go ahead. Oh, no, Nick, sorry.
Hello, I'm Nick Neitzel. I'm the product designer for American Pinball. I'm really excited to join the team. I'm very fortunate to get that position. I've been working with Rob for over the past year at the Electric Playground. After I released my homebrew and showing everybody what I can do in that space, and then being able to work with this team and continue to bring my ideas into pinball is something I'm really, really excited about. The fact that Rob in the past and so far American, I have an idea and I'm like, hey, what if we did this? And they're like, cool, let's see it. And just giving me the freedom to explore and to be passionate, like Nate said, about pinball, and continue to bring that passion to the American team. I'm so stoked about the future.
Everyone, I'm Lindeman. I'm president of the company. A little bit what I do, obviously there's the business side of it, the P&L stuff, the boring stuff, but at the end of it, I'm working directly with dealers to make sure they got the support. With us selling direct through dealers, it allows me to be able to make sure they have everything for the customer, work on customer service, follow through with anything that happens out in the field, and then get back to our team to make sure we can move on it and act on it and make sure things are fixed in the market, and then just make sure the team has the support they need to be able to do their jobs and give them the support for that. So we'll see what we do.
Hi everybody, my name is Melvin Williams. I'm the creative director in American Pinball. I will oversee most of the creative part about games and design, art-wise, to make a complete package. And with the new team and the opportunities we have in American Pinball, we try to elevate this level and give people really what they want. Also, people want licensed stuff. That's something we're really looking into and making everything moving forward. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to having all these great people on the team, creating a new standard with our upcoming classic and reimagined games. So yeah, good times ahead, and I'm looking forward to everything.
Awesome, thanks, Melvin. Hey guys, Rob Rath, product director at American Pinball. First of all, I want to thank Brian for putting his trust in Nick and I and coming over. We're extremely excited about this opportunity. I was very excited to hear that Melvin was coming over. He's brought some amazing things to pinball recently, and we'll continue to do that. So I can't wait for you guys to see what we come up with. I'll be responsible for kind of beginning to end and decision-making around how the product comes to market, influencing themes, influencing decisions, but working with this team really and coordinating them and organizing them. I've been getting asked a lot about kind of how this all happened, and just to tell a little story, I met Brian for the first time at Expo this 4 or 5 months ago, and he instantly became a customer, which was amazing. I learned about the collector that he is in pinball, and learned about some games that he's acquired that were some of the most amazing games in the market. As far as remakes and interesting things that the collector community is doing. And then I quickly learned that he had a vision for not only bringing classic games to the market, but also new themes. And he learned about a classic remake that I was working on for a topper for a game. And I learned about a remake that he was working on as well with American. So I was very excited to learn about that, and as a lot of you guys have probably speculated, American has been working on a remake, not only a remake, but a reimagined, and that title is coming this year, and that title is Circus Voltaire. So I want to celebrate that. we have a short little video just to kind of get you guys excited. It's not revealing much, but it might kind of give you an idea of what is kind of in store for the game. We'll play that real quick if we can.
Hold on, it's coming.
I got a few things. Let me. Well, I'll let you.
It doesn't do it.
He's got it. He's got it.
This is always the.
It's not. He's having the same problem I was having.
Does he do anything?
It's not me.
Get it off?
It's not me.
Uh-oh.
There he goes. There it is.
There is your small teaser.
Teaser.
On,
It's not
what's
even
to
a
come.
teaser.
Yes.
Crap, guys, that's all.
It is now officially official Circus Voltaire.
Actually, we were kind of debating whether we'd say anything at this show, but the reality is, we realize that people want to start thinking about games in advance of buying. There's sort of this market strategy of let's keep everything a secret, but those of you that know me, it's like, I'm like probably one of the most transparent guys you'll ever meet. So it's like, if you want to have a circus, which I do, which I don't own, which I will own, you can start thinking about putting some money aside for it, right? And I'm sure there'll be a lot of questions. We're going to be putting out some direct information about that. But I'd like one of you guys, Melvin or whoever, kind of explain a little bit about what we're talking about when we say reimagine. I think you saw what the original, that came from the original DMD, and then you kind of saw something that looked a little different. So there will be changes to the games. And as far as Melvin can explain some of the details, we'll put the different versions.
So we have two versions, so to say. So we have a classic edition that everybody knows, that everybody loves. And we also have a reimagined editions of our Bally Williams series. That means that we try to elevate it with new art packages, some extra specials into the game that fit very well, just to elevate it to the technologies we have in 2026. And here also come Rob's into play because he knows a lot of stuff about the rules and all that stuff. We're trying to elevate to make, the games even more fun, also at the, home entertainment. So probably Rob can fill in about this a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely going to be a classic and a reimagined edition. You can reach out to your distributor, local distributors, to get on a list. We've got a little bit of information on our socials now. We're not setting up, there's no deposit setting up at this point, but we want you to know it is coming this year. We're working very closely with Planetary on this. It's interesting because making remakes in a lot of ways is more challenging than a completely original title. You've got a set of parts that exist and a set of parts that don't exist in many cases. You're bringing it into a cabinet structure that will be a classic cabinet structure, so you guys can be excited about that. But it's using American parts and new technology. So yeah, we're really excited. Wanted to get this out to you guys, let you know about it. The community's been very supportive with Houdini that we released. So when I asked Brian how many we thought we'd sell, I said, I don't know, 10, and he was like, no, I think more than that, for sure. So we wanted to let you guys know what was coming and get on the list, but there's definitely more information coming soon.
And the good thing, what I'm trying to accomplish also with engineering-wise and everything, everybody knows that when you're doing old games, that some parts are unobtainium. You can't get them. So when we are running these games, we're trying to make sure that a lot of parts that goes in these games also fit your OG game. So it means we're really doing our best to make it fit to everywhere you go. So if you need a part that was unobtainium, you probably can get it right now. So we try to work even for the older games to get that going. So it's good to have that understanding.
Okay, so, and I will say we will announce the quantity. It will be a limited run. It's not going to be something we run a ton of and just keep running them. There will be a limited run, and when we're finished, we're finished. So, we'll be moving on to the next game. We're not going to, so those of us who I own a Medieval Madness, or I own a Cactus Canyon original one or whatever, it's like, okay, how many are they going to make? Because, I got one of these. But I think what's cool about Circus that I'm really excited about is they didn't make a whole lot not because it wasn't a great game, it was the end of an era. And this is, so I think to a lot of people it's a new game, I mean, there's a ton of people out there that have, it's just a hard game to access, but it's an awesome game, and what these guys are doing with the art and stuff is really cool. So I won't belabor that point, but if you have any questions about the company, any questions for any of these guys, we'll just, maybe we got 10 or 15 minutes or so. So that's kind of what we wanted to leave some time for people to ask some questions. So
If there are any questions.
if there are any questions.
Yeah, if you could come up to the mic here in front, that'd be ideal.
Howdy, my name's Rusty. I own the Game Preserve down in, it's good seeing you again, Brian, down in Houston. We have 2 locations, and we have a Circus Voltaire, so I'm very excited about this, mainly about the parts. So, being in an arcade, sometimes people don't understand, we have our Doctor Who machine. We get 1,000 plays a week on this thing, and Voltaire just couldn't stand up to it. So the question I have is that now that you've announced, and now you say you have parts for the old machine, will there be a place on your website that we can go and order those parts and get those parts that we need today? Or when will that be available for us?
Well, some of those parts, oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Probably our focus right now is getting those games built. And I think our main vision is to get the best parts. We even check at what revisions were made in the Williams era to make better parts, what broke. So our main goal right now is to get those games out. And at a later point, we'll probably set, of course, after sales up to get those parts going. But our main focus right now is just trying to get the games out first, and then we'll focus on the parts.
I do want to add to that. So Planetary is our partner, and when we do order a lot of these parts to be able to bring the game back to market, he is piggybacking off that to have more stuff for the future for his customers too with the original.
So you kind of
remakes.
use them as your distributor for those parts?
Yeah, he wants to
So we
add on
should
to
watch
orders.
Planetary Pinball for those parts?
The what?
We should be watching at Planetary Pinball as well for those parts?
Yes.
For the parts part, yeah. I just want to say he's gonna be able to support that. He's much aware of what you're saying as far as parts not being available, and that's really big in his mind too.
Yeah, that's the beauty. I think your question is it actually increases part availability.
Yeah, exactly.
So, which is great for people that have existing games as well.
Excited about it. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank
Looks
you.
great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's all good.
Hi. I had a quick question. What's the design cycle like? I've worked in an industry that we've gone from either 4 years of design cycle, to get parts out, to an industry now that, we have 2 months to get a part out, where there's a lot of pressure. So I'm curious, from the time that you take, say, the design and you say, I have some new concept of a pinball machine. How long does it take you to get the concept done? And then you pass it off to maybe the hardware folks, and then how much hardware changes do you have to have? Or is it a standard kind of hardware that you're able to kind of adapt to a lot of different games? And then, what pieces are custom, that sort of thing. And, how long does it take, from the time you say, I'm making Circus Voltaire to the time that you could potentially deliver, Circus Voltaire out?
I think you could probably take this one the best.
So it all depends a little bit on, it's per game different. If it's a remake, it also depends on what you're going to do. Are you going to reimagine it so it needs new artwork? So you never know exactly. A timeline for parts you can order. But let's say a reimagine game takes about 6 to 8 months, where a brand new game can go from 12 to 16 months. So, but the lead time, I think the focus more is between 6 and 8 months to get that done.
Got it. Anything from you guys? From a design side, what does it take you to just kind of come up with a new idea and say,
So an idea can be a day, or it can be 3 months of banging your head against a wall, to get one thing working, or, seeing how, if this mech doesn't work, make it work, or going, the answer's been looking at you the whole time. So, whitewoods take anywhere from, 3 to 6 months, even beyond, depending on how, difficult and how involved that is. But then taking that from a V1, whitewood to a full design product, like Melvin said, could take about, year and a half plus to get that onto market.
Yeah, it's not going to take
I love
a year
making
and a half.
whitewoods, I'll say that.
Yeah, and the good thing is, and this is what I really learned, is normally you have like one designer for a game, they have a team, but what I really try to create is multiple people, multiple designers that work with each other so they can create much more new stuff. You know, if you can, even if you look today at the homebrew area, there's some super talented people out there. And I think fresh new ideas like Nick has and everything that can, with a great team, you can go much faster and create beautiful games, things that people really want.
Yeah, I think with a new title, we'll be looking for the right mech to really celebrate that theme and that story. I think there has to be a real strong inspiration for people to be excited about how those two things are married. And that's what Nick's talking about that cycle. Like, you really don't know in those early stages, I think, how that's going to come together. You know, we certainly experienced it with our toppers in terms of like just trying to find something that really celebrates and adds value right from the beginning. Brian's talked about 3 key experiences in any game that we build. So we're right now kind of in our newest title looking for those 3 key experiences and building the layout and the playfield around that to bring it to life.
And that business side of that too, with most of our games that we've built, it's like you get 80% really quick. It's that little part that you have to get over the hump. But, you know, on the business side for me, it's like most of the games will be, you know, for production reasons, 60%, maybe a little bit more of common parts to build it for the designer. And then you kind of look for 2 to 3 wow mechs or wow moments in the game, you know, to make that game really special for what that theme or that license is, so.
I think,
Well, and I'll just say the beauty about, you know, not having to produce thousands of games or not having, you know, obviously we're in the business we're in the business to make money, we're in the business to create product and sell product. But I think one of the beauty if you're not making tons of games and you sort of don't have those limits, you know, we don't have the pressure in the same way maybe of, you know, I try not to tell these guys you can't have everything in the game, because there's always a point at which you're like, okay, you start looking at the bill of materials and say we have to make this saleable. But at the same time, you know, what I don't want to do early on, and specifically, is, you know, we want to let these creative guys go. Let's see what we get to, and I think we're off to a good start. And you're going to see, I mean, Nick's already working on a new piece of IP that we've obtained, and he's coming up with some great ideas. So just so you guys know, the track, new IP, probably every year-ish, and a reimagined game every year-ish. Okay, it's not going to be perfect, but in both cases, in some ways, I'm more excited about some of the creative elements we're bringing into taking a game that existed and making something kind of new about it. But for me, as a classic guy too, I also don't want the gameplay to just be totally different or anything like that. So, you know, you're going to get to experience the game as the game, but it'll be experienced in a new way, maybe in some cases. So we're going to give options to people there, and you'll hear more about that. So thank you. Yeah.
And then one of the things that, you know, when you're talking about development time and the things that take for a team to create a product, it's about communication. It's about getting everyone out of the silos so that people don't have to wait to get something done. If you remove that wait time, you know, that's the key, is to remove the time it takes to get an answer for something so that people can continue work and they can be creative. And that's the goal. That's the thing that we focus on right now. This leadership team has been amazing with it, and we've put in the infrastructure, we've established that, and moving forward, that's gonna really help us, you know, just get the job done and allow us to grow from there,
So we'll try to get in maybe
We
2
have
or
a
3
couple more questions. Yeah.
2 or 3.
And one back here, I think, too. Yeah.
Hey, my name's Charles, and I think most people here would like to know what an MSRP-ish would be on the remake or the new one. I mean, you can ballpark it if you want to. I was just curious about that.
It's a lot still going on yet. It's you know, I'd hate to say at this point, but we'll have information coming soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Our marketing team is going to be working on that. We'll have more stuff over the next couple months with things, but we want to hash it all out. But
It's a good question, but I don't think we're going to be out of market. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Some little birdie flying around said that we might be looking forward to an update to Galactic Tank Force that would take it more to its full potential. Is there?
Great game. I'm excited for the update. You know, again, I think that's a game we're still excited about, and we still want to continue to produce. One of my favorite games, actually, that American ever built. But it will be, what, you guys, we're testing the code right now. It's done.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it should be out in the next week.
Yeah, so,
week or
yeah.
two. Yeah. Oh, and one other thing, this gentleman is designed a new sculpt for the red tank. It'll be a really, really nice full sculpt. And Chris Franchi did a topper that's an acrylic topper, couple layers, and we're gonna have 2 different options. We'll have an upgrade kit. You can also get the new sculpt, and you can get a really nice topper, and you can swap out which piece of art you want. There'll be 2 options. So, and so that'll be coming out as well.
Now, you've addressed new IP, reimagined games, supporting the prior AP products. How about American Pinball products that were in the development cycle at various stages prior to them turning it over to you?
We're looking forward. We're not looking back.
Thank you.
That's why we created also Houdini, because it was one of the best sold games in AP. And we wanted to state, like, it's an end of an era. And, you know, we're having a new team, and we can still crank these games out, 100 games in like 20 days. So we have a good assembly line. So we prove, as a new company, we'll build games, we're here to stay, and we're looking forward to the future.
Hi, thank you. Continuing on the first gentleman's question about timelines, quite a lot of companies recently, and Melvin knows something about this, announce games and people don't actually get their games delivered for 6 months, 9 months, or even a year afterwards, which is obviously sometimes completely out of your control, particularly if you're not the one doing the manufacturing. But are you going to be able to change this when you open the order books and say, okay, pile in, here's your Circus Voltaire, these are the prices, this is the spec, put your orders in now, how long is it going to take before you can actually get a game out?
Yes, and this is especially where we're talked about internally very much. This is where we showed up Houdini, so we're probably running those for the next month, so we're cranking those out. And our goal is really to crank these games out. So, you know, we want to have games in boxes, you know, when we're ready to go. And yeah, we're here to stay, so we're trying to run as much. We have multiple assembly lines. So I think even Brian can fill a little bit in about this.
Yeah. I mean, look, our goal right now, you know, and we've only got a line and a half full. We can expand up to 6 lines, and we're not going to necessarily need that because we'll sometimes have one line that's kind of partially. It's easy to have multiple products set up on multiple lines, but the reality is, like, if we were going to call it 750 games, just as an example, you know, our goal would be to work through that, you know, 4 months, something like that, 4.5, 5 months maybe. And so, because what I want to be able to do is that we have to be able to go on to our next game as well. So, you know, the idea is, you know, we're not going to have a game and you announce it and then a year later you're still waiting on your game. Hey, I'm a collector. I've been there, done that. I'm still waiting on some stuff. I won't call anyone out. But, you know, I get it. And that's not what we want to do. And we don't want to take someone's money and then sit on it for, you know, a year and go, well, hey, I made this deposit. Where's my game, you know? So if you notice on Houdini, we're not asking for deposits. You can come up, you can order the game, and we're going to ship it to you. So now we may have, depending on the customization on one of these new ones, because they're pseudo-custom in some cases, depending on what you want, you know, the nice thing about dealers putting down a deposit, we can get our allocation set up, but the idea is that we get the games out quickly.
Great, good to hear, thank you.
You had mentioned 2 different versions of the Circus, a classic and a reimagined. I'm guessing you're going to update code and have new missions modes, things like that, more modern code on it. Would that be the classic is like I'm in the original Circus Voltaire side art and it looks like the old one. The reimagine's the new one, but they play the same. Is that?
Yeah, I mean, our viewpoint on it is like a lot of the world hasn't really got a chance to even experience the main Circus code, especially in their home.
I've got one.
So we're not going to be doing a full-on reimagine of the code. There will be some visual differences that you might have alluded to up there, but we want to give people a little bit more on some things. And there will be future code updates too, so we may push the boundaries. Also, you'll be able to play the original code as well on it.
Right, but the difference was mainly will be just visual, like.
No, so what we're also changing is, I just talked to Brian, is that even the classic games will have, the old games had a DMD. We're upgrading that to an LCD. We're upgrading the animations and all that stuff. You're still being able to experience your old game, but also play enhanced. And that enhanced not only enhances to just a classic look of a game, but we're also doing a reimagine. That reimagine will have a brand new art package, playfield, and all other extras that you will see in the upcoming months.
Very cool.
And we're doing some, even in the classic one as well, you'll get some 3D animations, not just like little 2D characters. So it's going to be better than just like a DMD to LCD upgrade.
Right.
But you will be able to play, the original game. It'll look like the original game. The playfield will be the same, or you can upgrade to a reimagined game, which will have a different art package, different playfield. In this day and age, it's interesting like me, it'll be interesting to see, but I would say the majority of people are going to probably elect to go up to sort of a cooler art package, as long as you keep the thematic the same and don't completely change it, which we're not doing.
Right.
I'd like to really keep pushing the envelope of what we're doing with this stuff going forward. And so Melvin's already working on our second Reimagine game and has got some really cool stuff in that one too. So we've got a pipeline going and running at this point.
I like your MO. I don't have that game. I want that game. Let's make that
Yeah.
game. That's pretty cool.
We're gonna make it
Well,
happen.
so for instance, you're not gonna have a neon, I'm an LED guy by background. You're not gonna have a neon tube, right? No, we wouldn't put a neon tube today into a Circus Voltaire. It's gonna have, what looks like a neon tube, but it'll be LED. Yeah,
The big
And do
key.
some other stuff.
Yeah, the big key is we want to respect the original, right? You know what I mean? Everyone loves it. We don't want to change too much of it. Obviously, there's a few things, but when it comes to the code, we're going to make sure that it runs perfectly.
Exactly.
That's the goal,
Very cool.
right?
Very cool.
Yeah.
Do we want to do one more?
Yeah, we can do one more.
What's that?
Last question? Yep.
Last question, thank you.
All right, great. First of all, I want to say, Brian and your team, it's great to hear from you and your candor today. And Brian, I know you engaged on Pinside, and I just want to emphasize that you're getting a lot more positive than those few negative comments that you get. I hope you continue to engage the community because I think it's positive for you.
I appreciate it. I've been in business 25 years and I have the skin of a crocodile. So, yeah, we know the vast majority of our customers are just awesome. And we want to thank you guys. It means a lot for so many people to be here. So we'll be around at the booth. If you want to ask questions, come see us. So thank you very much for your time. Thank
Also, I just want to mention, come by and see Houdini, 100th anniversary. We're celebrating that legacy of Houdini.